Chosen one, have you ever felt like your very existence was a threat to the system? If you're watching this, it means you've already started to wake up. And once you do, they will do everything in their power to break you. But here's what they didn't expect. You were built for this fight. From the moment you were born, you were different. You didn't fit into their mold. You didn't follow blindly. And you never accepted what didn't feel right in your soul. While others conformed, you questioned. While others obeyed without thought, you sought deeper truths. This made you a problem, a threat, and so the attacks began. They tried to condition you, to make you doubt yourself, to force you into submission. Through pain, through betrayal, through loss, they hoped to break you. They wanted you weak, confused, and afraid, because a chosen one who fully steps into their power cannot be controlled. But what they didn't expect was that every attack only made you stronger. Every attempt to destroy you only refined you. You were not built to lose. You were built to endure, to rise, to overcome. In this video, I will reveal why the system tried so hard to break you, the hidden methods they used to suppress chosen ones, and how you can step fully into your unstoppable power. If you felt like life has been one battle after another, this is not a coincidence. This is a strategy. But the good news? You were designed to win. Stay with me until the end, because by the time you finish watching this, you will see your entire journey from a new perspective. And if you resonate with this message, like and comment 77 below. Let them know that despite everything, you are still standing. How the system manipulates and breaks people. The world you live in is not what it seems. From the moment you were born, everything around you was carefully designed to shape your mind, to dictate your beliefs, and to keep you within the confines of a system that thrives on control. Society is a machine, and within this machine, people are not seen as individuals. They are seen as components, programmed to function in a specific way. You were given rules before you even had the chance to ask questions. You were taught what to think before you could understand the power of thinking for yourself. And if you never questioned it, life remained predictable, manageable, and unthreatening to those in control. But you were different. You didn't accept everything at face value. While others obeyed without question, something inside you resisted. You looked deeper. You searched for truth. You refused to be blindly led. And that is when the system noticed you. That is when they decided that you were a problem. You see, the world rewards those who comply. If you follow their rules, if you accept the limitations they set for you, they will allow you to live in comfort. Not true freedom, but enough comfort to keep you from questioning too much. But the moment you step outside their carefully crafted boundaries, the attacks begin. They don't need to come for you with chains or force. They use far more insidious tactics. One of their greatest weapons is isolation. The system understands that humans are wired for connection, that the need to belong is one of the strongest psychological forces. So, when they see that you are waking up, when they see that you refuse to conform, they make you feel like an outsider. They manipulate the people around you, friends, family, co-workers, into seeing you as the strange one, the rebellious one, the difficult one. Suddenly, you feel like you don't fit in anywhere. They want you to believe that you are alone, that your thoughts are dangerous, that questioning is a mistake. Because if they can make you feel isolated, they can weaken you. And if isolation doesn't break you, they turn to fear. They bombard you with messages designed to keep you in a constant state of anxiety. Fear of failure, fear of being judged, fear of standing alone. They tell you that stepping outside the system is reckless, that thinking differently will only lead to suffering. They use media, institutions, even religious and educational structures to reinforce the idea that security comes from obedience, that safety comes from compliance, that if you just follow the path they laid out for you, everything will be fine. But deep down, you know that isn't true. Look at history. Every revolutionary, every prophet, every leader who ever dared to challenge the status quo was met with resistance. They were ridiculed, silenced, exiled, even killed. The system does not allow true freedom of thought. Because once people begin thinking for themselves, the illusion falls apart. This is why they have worked so hard to break you. They needed you to doubt yourself. They needed you to question your own instincts. They wanted you to believe that you were crazy for seeing what others refuse to acknowledge. But here's the truth. They fear those who think for themselves. They fear those who break free from the programming. Because one awakened mind is more powerful than a million asleep. One person who sees beyond the illusion can inspire countless others to do the same. This is why they worked so hard to destroy you. But what they didn't realize was that every attempt to break you was only making you stronger. Every setback, every betrayal, every hardship was refining you, sharpening your awareness, teaching you resilience. They wanted you to give up. They wanted you to surrender, to shrink, to blend back in with the crowd. But instead, you evolved. You adapted. You became immune to their tactics. And now, they have no power over you. You are no longer controlled by fear. You are no longer afraid of standing alone, because you understand that solitude is where true wisdom is found. You are no longer seeking validation from a world that was never meant to accept you in the first place. You have stepped outside the illusion, and now you see the truth. And the most dangerous thing to a system built on control? Someone who can no longer be controlled. This is why the attacks on you were so relentless. This is why your path was so much harder than most. Because they knew who you were before you did. They recognized your potential before you even had the chance to understand it yourself. And they tried everything to suppress it, but they failed. Now, you stand on the other side, unbroken, unstoppable, untouchable. You have reclaimed your mind, your power, your identity. You see through their deception, and there is nothing they can do to change that. You were built for this. You were never meant to fit in. You were never meant to be like everyone else. You were meant to lead, to awaken, to break the chains that have held generations in captivity. So now, it is your turn to step fully into your power. No more second guessing. No more doubting. No more waiting for permission to be who you were always meant to be. Calm and aware if you see how the system is designed to keep people trapped. Because now that you know the truth, they can never control you again. The methods used to erase awakened individuals. They don't want chosen ones waking up. They don't want people realizing their true power. And so, they have created strategies, methods designed to silence, suppress, and erase those who refuse to conform. If you've been feeling attacked, know that this is not random. There are tactics at play. From the moment you began to think differently, from the moment you started questioning what others blindly accepted, the system identified you as a threat. They knew that if you fully embrace your power, you would become unstoppable. And so, they devised ways to make sure that never happened. They don't need physical chains to keep you bound. They don't need to force you into submission with brute strength. No, their methods are far more subtle, far more insidious. Because the most effective way to erase someone is to make them doubt themselves. One of their most powerful weapons is gaslighting. They make you doubt what you know to be true. They tell you that you're overthinking, that you're imagining things, that you should just go along with what everyone else believes. They use the people closest to you, family, friends, even spiritual leaders, to convince you that your awakening is just a phase or a delusion. They will tell you that your insights are dangerous, that your spiritual experiences are nothing more than overactive imagination. They will insist that life is not as deep as you feel it is, that you should simply stop worrying and go back to normal. But deep down, you know what you feel is real. This is why so many chosen ones experience an identity crisis early in their awakening. You feel the truth pulling at you, yet the world around you denies it. You see beyond the illusion, but everyone else insists that the illusion is all there is. The cognitive dissonance is painful, and that's exactly what they want. Because if they can make you question yourself, they never have to fight you. You will fight yourself. You will suppress your own voice, dismiss your own intuition, and willingly return to the programming just to escape the discomfort. But something inside you refuses to stay asleep. And when gaslighting doesn't work, they turn to isolation. Have you ever noticed how, the more you awaken, the more certain people fall away? The more you step into truth, the lonelier the path seems to get? This is intentional. The system is designed to make you feel like an outcast, to pressure you into returning to the mindset of the masses. They know that human beings are wired for connection, that the need to belong is one of the strongest psychological forces. So, when you refuse to conform, they make you pay the price. You lose friendships. You feel disconnected from family. Conversations that once felt natural now feel forced. You start noticing that people don't understand you the way they used to. They avoid deep discussions. They mock your insights. And eventually, they fade away. This is not a coincidence. It is a strategy. The goal is to make you feel so alone that you start questioning your own journey. They want you to believe that maybe you should go back. Maybe you should stop questioning. Maybe life would be easier if you just did what everyone else does. But here's what they don't understand. Chosen ones do not need the validation of the crowd. They thrive in solitude because solitude brings clarity. What they meant for isolation, God uses for revelation. And when neither gaslighting nor isolation works, they escalate their attacks. Spiritual warfare begins. You start experiencing waves of negativity, unexplained setbacks, moments where everything seems to go wrong at once. This is not just bad luck. This is not just a string of unfortunate events. This is a direct attempt to drain your energy, to break your spirit, to make you give up before you realize how powerful you really are. Your finances start crumbling. Relationships fall apart. Opportunities that seem secure suddenly vanish. You wake up feeling exhausted for no reason. Your motivation disappears, and the world feels heavier than usual. The attacks are relentless, because now they are desperate. They see that you are slipping from their grip, that their control over you is weakening, and they will use everything in their arsenal to keep you bound. But here's what they didn't expect. You were built to win. Every attempt to break you has only strengthened you. Every battle you fought has made you wiser, sharper, more aware. You have endured the fire and come out refined. The very tactics they used to suppress you have only served to awaken you further. They thought that hardship would weaken you, but it has only given you resilience. They thought that loneliness would crush you, but it has only deepened your connection to yourself. They thought that fear would paralyze you, but it has only made you more determined. They cannot erase you. They cannot stop you, because you have already seen the truth, and once you see, you can never go back to being blind. The attempts to silence you will fail because your voice is no longer just yours. It carries the weight of every chosen one who came before you, every warrior who fought through the same darkness, every soul that refused to bow. Now, the only question left is, will you keep standing? Will you continue to rise, even as the attacks intensify? Will you hold on to your power, even when the world tries to strip it from you? Will you embrace your destiny, even when it feels like the odds are stacked against you? Because if you do, they will have no choice but to fall back. They can no longer control what they do not fear, and they fear the one thing they can never suppress, an awakened soul, walking boldly in truth, unshaken, unstoppable, unbreakable. Comment strong if you felt these attacks, but refuse to break. Let them know that no matter what they throw at you, you are still here, still rising, still winning, because you were built for this, and nothing can stop you now. Now, let's talk about the signs that you've started breaking free, because once you escape their control, everything changes. But before we get into that, if this message is resonating with you, consider supporting this channel with a super thanks. It helps bring this truth to more chosen ones who need to hear it. Now, let's talk about how you'll know that you are stepping into your true power. The signs that you've started breaking free. Breaking free is not a single event. It is not a sudden, dramatic moment where everything changes instantly. Instead, it happens in layers, gradually unfolding as you release yourself from the system's grip. At first, You may not even realize it's happening. But the moment you step outside the illusion, the world around you starts responding differently. The way people treat you changes. The way life unfolds shifts. It feels as though something unseen has been disturbed, as if your very presence is sending ripples through the structure that once kept you bound. One of the first signs that you are breaking free is the way people react to you. Some will be drawn to you, sensing something different about your energy. They won't always be able to explain why, but they will feel a pull toward your presence. Your very existence will become magnetic to those who are also awakening, those who are searching for truth, those who are beginning to question the very things you have already seen through. They will seek your guidance, your insight, your energy, because they sense that you carry something real. But not everyone will respond positively. Just as some are drawn to you, others will turn against you. People who once treated you kindly may suddenly become distant, irritated, or even hostile. You will notice strange tensions in your relationships. Conversations that used to feel easy now feel forced. Friends or family members may dismiss your thoughts, mock your beliefs, or even start resenting your presence. Why? Because your energy is no longer aligned with theirs. You are no longer operating under the same programming. And those who are still asleep, those who are still deeply embedded in the system, can feel the shift, even if they don't consciously understand what is happening. Something within them senses that you are no longer under the same spell. Your presence alone becomes disruptive. It challenges their false sense of security. It forces them to confront thoughts they have spent years avoiding. And for some, that is unbearable. Instead of questioning their own reality, they will attack yours. They will try to pull you back down, to silence your voice, to remind you of the person you used to be. Because if you rise, it means they have no excuse for staying where they are. Another undeniable sign that you are breaking free is the sudden appearance of obstacles. The moment you decide to step into your power, it may feel like everything starts going wrong. Suddenly, money becomes tight, relationships are tested, unexpected problems arise out of nowhere. You may feel like you are being hit with resistance from every direction, and the system wants you to believe that this is a punishment, that your awakening is causing these hardships. They want you to think that your decision to grow, to evolve, to free yourself is a reason why everything is falling apart. But in reality, these obstacles are proof that you are making progress. This is the test. The moment you start to escape their control, they try to pull you back in. They use fear, scarcity, and struggle to make you doubt your path. They know that most people, when faced with difficulty, will revert to old ways of thinking, old habits, old patterns. They hope that the moment things get tough, you will break, that you will surrender and return to the comfort of the illusion. But this is where you must hold the line, because the resistance is not a sign that you are failing. It is confirmation that you are winning. The Matrix does not attack those who are still asleep. It does not challenge those who remain obedient. But the moment you step out of line, the moment you reject their false reality, they try to bring you back by any means necessary. If you are experiencing waves of unexplained struggle, if you feel like you are being hit from all sides, understand that this is because you are stepping into something greater. You are detaching from the illusion, and they are desperate to stop you before you fully break free. But here's what they don't realize. Once you see the truth, you can never unsee it. Once you recognize the illusion, you can never fully return to it. And this is why, no matter what they throw at you, you will keep moving forward. Another powerful sign that you are breaking free is synchronicity. As you step further into alignment with your true self, you will begin to notice strange coincidences, repeating numbers, meaningful encounters, and sudden realizations. You might see 11:11 on the clock constantly. You might hear the same message from multiple sources in a short period of time. You might start having vivid dreams that feel more like messages than random imagery. These are not coincidences. These are signals from the universe, confirming that you are on the right path. The more you pay attention, the more these signs will appear. You will begin to feel guided, as if unseen forces are pushing you exactly where you need to be. The resistance from the system will still be there, but alongside it, there will also be these undeniable confirmations that you are moving in the right direction. The more you awaken, the more these synchronicities will increase. The world will no longer feel random. You will begin to see connections everywhere. Patterns that once seemed like chance will reveal themselves as part of a greater design. You will feel as though you are being led, not by the rules of society, but by something far greater, something divine. This is when everything changes, when you stop operating from fear and start moving with purpose, when you no longer need external validation because you trust the path you are on, when you realize that every challenge was not meant to break you, but to strengthen you. This is what it means to be free. And once you step into this freedom, there is no turning back. The world will never look the same. The system will never be able to control you the way it once did. The people who tried to suppress you will no longer have power over you, because you will finally understand who you are. You are not meant to conform. You are not meant to follow. You are not meant to remain asleep. You were born to wake up. You were born to see. You were born to break free. If you have felt these shifts in your life, if you have noticed people reacting to you differently, if you have experienced sudden resistance, if you have seen signs and synchronicities confirming your path, know that you are not alone. You are not crazy. You are not imagining it. You are in the process of freeing yourself from a system that was never meant to contain you. Comment free if you have felt these shifts in your life, because once you have started breaking free, nothing can stop you. You are on the path now. Keep going. Keep rising. The world is about to see what happens when a chosen one refuses to be held down. How to protect yourself from their influence. Once you see how they operate, the question becomes, how do you protect yourself? How do you move forward without falling back into the same traps, without being pulled into their cycle of fear, distraction, and control? The answer is both simple and profound. You must become untouchable, not in the physical sense, but in your mind and your spirit, in the way you navigate this world. Because once you reach a level where they can no longer manipulate your thoughts, they have no power over you. The first and most crucial step is awareness. You cannot be controlled if you understand the game. The system relies on secrecy, on keeping people blind to its true nature. They manipulate through subtlety, through small compromises that seem insignificant at first. A little doubt here, a little fear there. But when you begin to see these tactics for what they are, when you recognize the psychological and spiritual warfare at play, they lose their grip. It's like seeing the strings on a puppet. Once you know they're there, the illusion is broken. You no longer react the way they expect. You no longer fall for the same distractions. But awareness alone is not enough. You must take action to protect yourself. The mind is their greatest battleground, and that means your thoughts must be guarded fiercely. You cannot allow fear, doubt, or insecurity to take root. You must train yourself to recognize when negativity is being planted in your mind, whether through the news, social media, toxic people, or even your own inner dialogue. Every thought you entertain either strengthens you or weakens you. And in this fight, you cannot afford to be weak. One of their most effective weapons is fear. They use it to keep people paralyzed, afraid to take risks, afraid to step into their power, afraid to break free. But here's the truth. Fear is an illusion. It only has as much power as you give it. The moment you stop feeding it, the moment you refuse to let fear dictate your choices, you take back control. The system is designed to make you believe that if you step outside the lines, you will suffer, that if you go against the grain, you will fail. But in reality, the opposite is true. The greatest rewards, the most profound breakthroughs, the deepest peace comes when you stop letting fear rule your life. Another critical step in protecting yourself is guarding your energy. Not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone should be allowed into your space. There are people in this world who are walking distractions, sent to drain you, to keep you preoccupied with meaningless drama, so that you never focus on your higher purpose. You must learn to discern who is truly for you and who is simply using you as a source of energy. Pay attention to how you feel after interacting with someone. Do you feel inspired, uplifted, clear-minded? Or do you feel exhausted, confused, burdened? Protecting yourself means setting boundaries, not just physically but energetically. If someone is constantly bringing chaos into your life, it is not your responsibility to fix them. It is your responsibility to remove yourself. The system also works through distraction. They flood your mind with unnecessary noise, constant stimulation, endless scrolling, and entertainment designed to keep you from thinking deeply. They don't want you to have quiet moments of reflection. They don't want you to sit with your thoughts, to ask the big questions, to reconnect with your spirit, because when you do, you become dangerous. This is why solitude is so powerful. Taking time away from the noise, disconnecting from their programming, and allowing yourself to think freely is one of the most radical acts of self-protection you can take. Detaching from the system also means rejecting their false sense of identity. They want you to define yourself based on their labels, their expectations, their limitations. But who were you before the world told you who to be? Before society placed its restrictions on you, you were limitless. You were free. You were connected to something far greater than any system could ever control. That version of you still exists. It has just been buried under years of conditioning. To protect yourself, you must return to that essence. You must strip away every label they placed on you, every belief that was never truly yours, and reclaim your own identity. And perhaps the most powerful step in protecting yourself is this: stop seeking approval from those who are still trapped. Stop waiting for permission to be who you were meant to be. Stop allowing the opinions of those who are still blind to determine your path. Not everyone will understand your journey. Not everyone will see what you see. And that is okay. Your purpose is not to convince them. Your purpose is to become so fully yourself that their doubts no longer matter. When you detach from their system, when you stop feeding their distractions, when you refuse to let their opinions shape your reality, you step into a level of power that is truly unshakable. You become someone they can no longer manipulate, no longer silence, no longer hold down. And that is when you truly begin to rise. This is why protecting yourself is not just about defense. It is about offense. It is about actively choosing to walk in your power every single day. It is about rejecting their fear, ignoring their lies, and refusing to be controlled. It is about standing firm in your truth, no matter how much pressure they put on you to conform. And here's the final truth they never wanted you to know. Once you reach this level of awareness, they can never control you again. You are free. You are untouchable. You are unstoppable. Calm and protected if you refuse to let them control your mind. If you are done playing by their rules, if you are done living in fear, if you are ready to step fully into your own power, declare it now. Because the moment you take control of your mind, you take control of your destiny. What happens when you fully escape the system? There is a moment in your awakening when everything changes. A moment when you no longer fight for approval, when you no longer fear their opinions, when you stop questioning whether you are doing the right thing. This is the moment when you fully escape the system. And once you do, nothing can ever be the same again. The system tried to break you from the beginning. It placed obstacles in your way, created illusions to confuse you, designed distractions to keep you from seeing the truth. It conditioned you to believe that security comes from obedience, that happiness is found in conformity, that success is only possible if you follow their blueprint. But deep inside, you always knew that was a lie. Something in you resisted. Something in you refused to fully surrender to the illusion. And that something is the reason why you are here right now, on the other side of the struggle, stepping into a reality that most people will never even realize exists. When you fully escape the system, the first thing you notice is how different the world looks. It is as if a veil has been lifted, and for the first time, you see everything clearly. You see the fear that keeps people trapped. You see the cycles of control that govern their lives. You see the manipulation in the media, in the institutions, in the social structures designed to keep the masses asleep. But instead of feeling anger, instead of feeling bitterness, You feel something even more powerful, freedom. You are no longer bound by their rules. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself to those who will never understand. You no longer seek validation from people who are still caught in the illusion. You move differently. You think differently. You operate on a frequency that most cannot even comprehend. And this is when they begin to fear you, because now you are truly dangerous, not in a way that harms others, but in a way that disrupts everything they work so hard to maintain. You become a living example that the system is not absolute, that its power is an illusion, that everything they told people was necessary, fear, struggle, submission, is not real. You become proof that a person can exist outside their control, and that is something they cannot allow. But here's the truth. They can no longer touch you. Once you reach this level of awareness, you are beyond their reach. Their distractions no longer appeal to you. Their fear tactics no longer shake you. Their attempts to suppress you no longer work. They can try to discredit you. They can try to make you feel isolated. They can try to throw obstacles in your way. But none of it matters anymore, because you know who you are. And when a chosen one knows who they are, they become unstoppable. The energy you carry shifts. You become a force of nature, walking in divine purpose. You no longer chase opportunities, they find you. You no longer worry about lack. Abundance flows to you effortlessly. You no longer fear loss, because you understand that everything meant for you will come in divine timing. You do not operate in the way the world taught you to. You operate in a way that is higher, untouchable, beyond the grasp of the system. People will notice. Some will be drawn to you, seeking to understand how you live with such peace, such power, such certainty. Others will resent you, not because you have done anything to harm them, but because your existence challenges their beliefs. They will look at you and realize that the limitations they thought were real were never real at all, that the suffering they accepted as normal was never necessary, and that truth will either inspire them or make them uncomfortable. But by then, it won't matter to you, because you are free. No more fear, no more doubt, no more waiting for permission. Subscribe and comment, I am unbreakable, if you know that no matter what they throw at you, you will never fall.